Thanks, dude. Hey, Joel. My name is Jimmy Lazinski with Bleeding Cool. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm well.
Let's get into you and let's talk about Mortal Kombat Legends,
Yeah.
the cage match. You star as Johnny Cage, who is as quick with his wit as he is with a fist and a foot. How similar is the character Johnny Cage to the real person, Joel McHale?
Well, other than the foot, and the punching at being quick at that, then the wit is, according to my family, definitely not as fast. But you would see we're halfway there on the wit part. That's about it. But I wish I had his clothing, and I wish I had his. Look, I worked out a lot, but I can't really bulk up that way. So I would love to. I'd love to be able to do the splits.
Right
Can't do.
on.
Can you do the splits?
Not anymore. Not since I popped my hip out back in 2013. But
Oh,
life goes on. Sun
did
still
you get?
comes up. Nope, just put it back. But they said don't do the splits anymore.
Did you really be able to do the splits?
Yeah. My younger
Yeah.
days, yeah. Pop in, lock in, break dancing.
When I played football, I saw a guy dislocate his hip, much like it sounds like you did, and I've never heard anybody scream in pain like that ever. And I was like,
Yeah,
don't let that happen to you, Joel. Anyway,
yeah. It's
that's
a lot. It's a lot. But let's go back to you, buddy. Tell me about Johnny Cage and where do we find him in this movie, in this story?
well, it's his, origin story. It's the backstory, and I love how it's set in the '80s and the way the colors of the thing reflect that. And uh, you, so I got to be in the other two and got to make 1,000 jokes and really annoy the producers because I wouldn't stop talking. I'm kidding; they were very accommodating. So the difference is, this is 10,000 jokes, which they've whittled down to, the ones they improvise. I think smartly they took maybe one or two, but it is a comedy, which I love, but I think the love story is great, and of course, I love how these movies, after seeing the first one that I was in, how it's for adults or young adults, and I think that not pulling those punches, ha ha ha, not pulling those punches like in the game, the first version of the game, it's an R-rated game basically, or PG-13 rated game, and I really appreciate that. And they let us improvise and curse, and I thought the violence is really funny and over the top, and kind of it's I don't know, it reminds me of the way that something like a Sam Raimi film can ride comedy, and he rides comedy and horror, and this rides comedy and violence.
Right on. So this is set in the '80s. You mentioned it's his origin story. This takes place before Mortal Kombat, before he's introduced to the
Yeah,
world of Mortal Kombat.
yeah, and you know, it really shows you how pompous he is, and they really steer into that in a great way. And but he's got, for lack of a better term, he does have some heart to him, or heart of gold. And so when push comes to shove, he will do the right thing, but most of the time he's looking out for himself, or he's thinking about himself and his career and what he looks like in the mirror. But yeah, so that's how it's before everything. And they really, which was so great, they let me just say also, because I'm a kid of the '80s, I had 1,000 references I could make, and I think they kept a few. So I really appreciate it. I just made a couple Automan jokes, and they didn't put those in. I'm kidding, producers. Look up Automan.
That's deep cut, deep cut.
You remember that?
Of course I do. Yeah, he. This movie, the based on, I've only seen the previews myself, the red band and the green band, but it kind of has the tone of the '80 movies of my
Yeah.
childhood, and most notably to me, it kind of sticks out, resembles it. Big Trouble in Little China. A lot of comedy, a lot of horror, a lot of action. Is there any movie that you can compare this to that's similar in both
Well,
tone and
yeah. I mean, you kind of nailed it. I guess Army of Darkness would
yeah,
be one, because I going along with the Sam Raimi, or boy, it'll pop in my brain. Something like, I don't know, Nate and Hayes. How do you like that reference? 1980,
I
I
don't
think.
I don't remember a lot of horror in that movie.
No, there was no horror. Well, would you see this as a horror film? I guess Army of Darkness is technically a horror film. But you know, lots of jokes, lots of that's what like if you yeah, I mean, I'm really appreciative of the producers allowing the comedy to really come out and during the story. And so yeah, I would say Army of Darkness or any kind of Evil Dead-ish, but not as much horror as it is sort of. I think Big Trouble in Little China and Kurt Russell, what that masterpiece, that whole cast was perfect. I didn't see the
Classic.
though. How was the remake?
Of Big Trouble in Little China. I don't think that come out yet. There was
Oh,
talk about The Rock was going to be in a remake, but I don't remember
I
that
thought
ever
that was
coming out.
made. It really shows you how on the pulse of Hollywood I am.
Right, right, right. I figured you get the trades, you just don't read them, right?
I think they should bring back Kurt Russell and The Rock and do something in that world. I don't know why that didn't become even. I know it's done really well, obviously, and it's such a good movie. But I would think that yeah, it's funny that they never did a sequel.
Yeah, yeah, it deserved one. Do you? I know you worked with Jennifer Grey in the booth making this movie. Did you at all get a chance to work with the comedy icon Gilbert Gottfried? Did you get any booth time with him? Did you get
I
any
did
funny
not.
stories?
I would have loved that, especially. I mean, now that's with him so sadly passing. So you know, it was so kind of shocking. The same way that you know Bob Saget and Norm Macdonald passed, and
Mhm.
yeah, we lost comedy. We lost a lot of comedy in the last few years. So I didn't, but to say, you know, I can say on my deathbed that you know I did. So I was on. I was in the same movie as Gilbert Gottfried. I can say that.
Right. Share the screen
Uh,
credit.
yeah, I mean, talk about a unique comedic voice, and it's not something you could ever teach. You know, you just
Right.
he was born funny and yeah, so funny. So anyway, that yeah. So I'm sad that I didn't get to meet him.
Well, I think you're pretty funny yourself, Joel McHale.
Oh,
Looking forward
you
to Mortal Kombat Legends cage match coming out October 17th. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do me a favor, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, man?
say hello to Batman.
I for sure will, right here.
Yeah, it's right behind that.
Thanks.